Google gobble, Google gobble. One of us, one of us. Have you ever heard that before, Johnson?
I'm uncomfortable.
Seeing you just kind of freak out there for a second was kind of priceless.
What is that
Google
from?
gobble, Google gobble. One of us, one of us. Google gobble, one of us, one of us. That is from an old film, so I'm actually surprised you haven't seen it, because I know your parents like watching old films. It's from the 1932 horror film called Freaks. So essentially what it is...
1937?
32. So essentially what it was is this woman comes in to a circus like freak show, and it's the circus freaks around dinner, and they are showing they accept her by going Google gobble, one of us, one of us.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking at images of it.
Yeah, you must be watching it right now. So anyways, so the reason I started that kind of as the intro is because we're going to answer the question, the underlying question to the previous 3 episodes. What is the basis? What is the thing that binds all these episodes together? And what is the catalyst that's causing all this craziness here in the United States? In the world, to be honest.
Freaks?
No, freaks aren't the cause of it.
That's good.
You might call them freaks when you hear this, but... What?
Some of these pictures, man, are freaky.
So, you're looking at stuff from the thing?
From the movie, yeah.
Yeah, it was considered a controversial movie just because of the fact that, well, it portrayed circus freaks as freaks.
Yeah.
Called the movie Freaks. But anyways, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
Define for me intersectionalism. Hey, you got a whole month of no word of the week again. So,
right.
So if I ask you to define a couple things here,
I can't complain. Intersectionalism. It's funny because I literally looked at it earlier today.
Yeah.
And I already don't remember it.
Johnson? Or not Johnson. Brewer, do you have any idea what intersectionalism is? Without looking it up. I see you typing it away.
Group that's on the inner circle of a section of people that are freaky. No, I don't know. No,
it's not that old of a word. It's from 1989.
I still wasn't born yet.
Intersectionalism?
This is honestly the first time I feel like I've ever heard this word.
It wasn't that widely used until feminists in the early 2000s.
Ah, boy, here we go.
What?
What?
Oh, boy, here we go. What?
Oh, no, just continue.
No, do you have a guess on what it is?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I just pulled it. Well, I pulled up intersectionality.
Right. So when you think of Josh, how do you define Josh? White,
your average
male,
white boy,
straight, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, traditional way of thinking, you think of each of those as kind of separate, right? You know, he's blonde hair, blue eyed, but he's also male, Christian,
right?
Married, dog owner, future triplet
dog
dad. Has a weird porn stash going on.
Weird what stash?
Porn stash.
What?
Have you
never heard the phrase porn stash?
No.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
We'll show you. I'll show you a picture of the guy that made that famous. You don't look like him, but
no. But he has the porn stash going on. But you think of each of those things separately, right? You don't have a porn stash. I just want to see what your reaction would be. So that's how you traditionally think of it. Intersectionality says you must consider all of them together to consider the person as a whole. So I have to consider him as a white male, but at the same time, I also have to consider him as a dad, but I also have to consider him as a porn stash holder altogether.
Right.
It's
one thing.
I can't think of any one component separate from the whole. I have to think of the whole. Or hey everyone, this is Paul. So apparently something happened. I must have paused the recording for a little bit here at this point here when we're talking about intersectionalism. So the first part of that is holding true still. The concept that you have to consider the person and the target as a whole. But typically when you're using intersectionalism, you're talking about how that whole is used either for prejudice, discrimination, etc. So you don't just look at a person as maybe they're a minority and you say they're discriminated against because they're a minority. You look at it as they're a minority who is of a oppressed, I guess, gender or of a unique sexual identity, etc. So it's not just the fact that you're looking at the person as a whole in itself, and it's really weird. So here's another definition that maybe might help clear it up a little bit. Intersectionality is a theoretical framework. Notice it's theoretical for understanding how aspects of a person's social and political identities might combine to create unique modes of discrimination and privilege. And you have to believe in intersectionality in order for it to be something that actually works. And that's why I kind of say it is a religion. Now, if you look at the Wikipedia page for intersectionality and you look at this and you just study it, they also include in here an actual religious component. They include atheism, Buddhism, Catholicism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, Jehovah's Witness, LDS, Mormon, neo-paganism, Eastern Orthodox, Oriental Orthodox, I can't even pronounce that. I can't pronounce that either. There's a bunch of words in here I can't say. I butcher normal English, and try to include a bunch of isms is not going to happen for me. So that's why I have this argument that intersectionalism is a religion. And here's the fun part. And again, fun is always using quotes around me. It says right here in this document, it says intersectionality broadens the lens of the first wave of feminism, which largely focused on the experience of women who are both white and middle class, to include different experiences of women of color, women who are poor, immigrant women, and other groups. And that's why I say in just a second, if you understand intersectionalism at all on a deeper level than this, let me know, because honestly, people are writing papers and dissertations on intersectionalism and trying to understand and come to grasp with this theoretical framework. And that's why I say it's a religion, is because it's not only grasping at all these things and trying to make them fit, but you have to believe that intersectionalism is something that works in order for it to work. It's just like a Christian has to have faith in order for that faith to be real. You know, I can say that I believe in Jesus and everything, but I can say that out loud, but unless I actually believe with my head and my heart, it's going to be not a real thing. And intersectionalism is the same thing, except there is a ton more that goes along with intersectionalism that you would not believe. There's intersectionalism is part of a series of Marxism. It's on feminism. It's on resisting oppression. It's on oppression. It's on, interlocking matrices of oppression. There is a lot there, and you have to believe in the intersectionalism in order for any of that other stuff to make sense. So I just wanted to drop that in here, add in that clarifying clear as mud extra definition of intersectionality, which for whatever reason didn't get recorded. Now back to your normal program. And if that makes 100% sense to you, congratulations. You have just earned your master's in feminist ideology.
Nope.
Because a lot of people actually have, it's a very ambiguous term, to be fair. Okay. So we got that, right?
Yeah.
Brewer, define for me, what is a religion?
Uh-oh.
It is a practice
Okay.
of beliefs.
Okay. That it?
Yeah.
Okay. I would add a few things to that. I would add in that they normally have, a religion would have some sort of sacred text with rituals in it. And I'm not saying like rituals like I cut my wrist and therefore I summon a genie. I'm saying, these are the feasts, these are the sacrifices I make, these are the prayers I say, that sort of stuff, those sort of rituals. And it has what is good, what is bad, what is in the Christian concept, you could think of it as the original sin. What is all that? What so you have those two things, right? So and I've been reading articles on this for a while, okay? But I think really what's kind of happening behind the scenes on everything here is that we have people growing up, and humans by their very nature, we're religious about something. We either have a belief in God or a god or gods or Gaia or some weird spirits or crystals, but we have to believe in something.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of how the human brain is wired. And what I'm seeing, honestly, and you two correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys are from younger generations, but a lot of the younger generations are kind of growing up not Christian in any Christian denomination. Yes?
I mean, I wouldn't, granted, I guess I have a small view on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly after going to fellowship, I mean, the youth group has definitely gotten smaller.
Right.
You don't really see younger kids going. I mean, granted, most of them that are going are probably all ones that are brought there by mom and dad. But that's like little kids. As far as older people going like, well, people my age or a little younger that are on their own. Yeah, there's definitely like no one here like that. Well, that fellowship that I know of. I don't know. Are there many other people here that are my age? Kind of.
Not many.
Not really. After going to RBC, I mean, granted, that's a big church. So, I mean, there's a lot more, especially like kids, like little kids going.
But
I don't know the history
but
of.
let's say people around your age, but just throw a ballpark out.
Yeah.
How many?
There's at RBC?
Yeah.
20-ish.
That's still a smallish amount.
And I mean, yeah. I'm just trying to think of even like growing up with, some friends in the church and stuff like that. And now, I don't know, it doesn't, granted, I don't keep up with all the people I used to go to school with or church with, but from the looks of some of it, it's like, I feel like a decent amount kind of just started to drop it after some point.
Right.
So, which, I mean, there's always been that, well, not always, but as far as whenever I started hearing about it, it's like, what, 70%, 60 to 70% of college age students drop church during either the college years or after the college years.
So it
so it's always going to be dying.
Yeah, from 2019, so January of 2019, 2/3, 66%.
Kind of stopped going.
Yeah, it says of American young adults. This is American, okay? American young adults who attended a Protestant church regularly for at least a year as a teenager say they dropped out for at least a year between ages 18 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
34% say they continue to attend twice a month or more. Only 34.
Wow.
Yeah, but
so I mean, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with what you're saying.
So we're always looking for something. We always want to believe in something, kind of.
Right.
Where we're looking for that good luck coin, that good luck rabbit's foot, that the luck from the Pornstache that Josh has over here.
Just grew.
I hope he's not looking it up right now. But you have that, right? You have this desire, you hear it in the church, this God-shaped hole in your heart. You've heard that, right? Both of you?
Nope. Haven't heard it said like that, but yeah.
Okay. Maybe that was like something from, when I was in high school.
Well, I guess the way I've heard it is like, I mean, there's like a hole inside you that only Jesus or God can fill, kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially,
same thing.
Yeah. I've heard a God-shaped void, God-shaped hole.
I guess I haven't heard a God-shaped.
Maybe that's, there's actually a book called God-Shaped Hole. as well.
Nice. That's
But
a pretty big hole.
Apparently it's supposed to be like you were saying, only that hole in your heart, that thing in your spirit that God can fill.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have that. That's kind of that shared human experience. You find the most remote tribes in the world, and they worship something because they need some way to explain what is going on in the world around them.
Right.
And if we're growing up and teaching kids, you do not need religion, they find a new religion. They find a non-theistic religion. What's non-theistic? Either of you.
Isn't it wouldn't that be like a no, like God?
Correct.
Yeah.
So non-theistic meaning a no God religion.
Yeah.
So it's a non-theistic, so that way they're not necessarily bound down to what they think. They're not bound down to a God of some sorts.
Right.
But instead they're bowing down to an ideology.
Which
is intersectionalism.
What? Oh.
Now, why do I say intersectionalism is a religion? It has the tenets of what is right and wrong.
Right.
The intersectionalists say you must not be racist, and if you are racist, you are a sinner, and you must repent of your sin. The original sin is racism. So that they're really coming down and saying, Aaron, you are born white, therefore you are a sinner. You are racist. Repent of your racism.
How? I don't know how.
Well, they'll teach you how.
Oh, how?
They'll have you repeat mantras.
Oh, was that the whole like humility or like what was it? I can't remember. I thought it had to do with something with humility, like a religion of humiliation of yourself. And it was so, oh my gosh, I hate saying words with S now because it's like killing me. I don't know. It was on the news, and someone was like standing up on this like balcony or porch or whatever, higher spot, and then all these people are on the ground and like on their knees and whatever, and this person, whoever what they were, was like basically having them saying that like, shaming themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you know, okay, so I actually learned this.
Mm-hmm.
What they were doing is, and you see this in a church too. So you like liturgy. So if your church says liturgy, like response reading, right? So what you do is, like Aaron will say, repeat after me. And then Aaron says a phrase and then I repeat it. What is that doing? That's a technique called anchoring.
Oh, okay.
So by anchoring, what that is, and I learned this, that is used, and this is where some people get upset because I'm going to say the C word here. It's used by cults.
Oh.
It's also used by religion, okay? But what it is it's by this concept of anchoring, is it by you saying it and then me repeating it out loud, not just saying it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It anchors into my head as more true because I'm saying it. It's a technique used by cults to help brainwash people so that they believe the tenets of the cult.
Oof. I don't like that.
So this again a lot of this was brought to my attention by Tim Cast, because he had something. Now, Tim, he grew up Catholic and then he left the Catholic Church at like 6th grade, something like that, around that time frame. But he also has spent time with hackers and social hacking and all that. And he's like, these are the techniques people use to brainwash people. I'm like, well, that's creepy. And so I did some research, and yeah, it is.
That's legitimate. I guess, saying it out loud, that I can see how that drills it into your head more.
Yeah, so it's called anchoring. That's what that technique is. So that's why they say they have you repeat it. Now, it's an effective learning thing because it helps your brain process it more, especially when you say it and you say it out loud. You're thinking it, you say it out loud, you're repeating what they said, it helps.
Yeah.
That's why it's called anchoring. It helps literally anchor it in your head.
In the brain.
I know. It's like, wait a minute, what?
That's my whole life a lie. No.
So, the difference I see though between like intersectionalism and like Christianity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Intersectionalism, they don't have, I guess you could say, a set holy text.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's always changing. Because that's going to change with culture. That's going to change every year, every month, every week.
Right.
What is their current holy book that you have to read and understand? Another difference that I'm finding is that, okay, let's say, Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
You go, someone who is not a Christian and has a conversation with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you two have differing opinions.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure happens decent amount. What happens in those interactions?
Huh? I mean, there's disagreement.
Yeah, but how does that disagreement go? Are you yelling at each other, or are you just having a conversation and you kind of like agree to disagree, but you're still friends in that?
Right. It's a little different every time. I guess and that's like I never want to get like, I guess, heated in a discussion. Because at that point it's like, well, one, it just doesn't make for a good conversation. Because then you're just, I don't know. How do I describe it? Well, it doesn't make someone want to listen to you. One, because it's like if you're getting yelled at by the other person, it's like, I mean, that just automatically like forces like a defense in me to be like,
right,
you're an idiot, shut up, I'm not going to listen to you, kind of thing. But for the most part, like, there's been conversations that we have, and it hasn't always been like about religion, but just
differing opinions,
just different ideas, different thoughts. Sometimes they can get somewhat passionate, but never like angry, pissed off, like I'm yelling at you thing. It's just like you can tell the one person is pretty set on what they believe and what they think and disagree with you. And then, I mean, once you get to the point where you're done talking about it, you just stop, keep going, and it's like, oh, fine. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's never been a bad
interaction.
Yeah.
Josh, how about you? Have any of those type of interactions ever? How do they go? Okay, no.
You mean we've never disagreed on anything before, Josh?
Nope.
Oh, that's a lie.
So there was one key thing I wanted to pick up on there, Johnson, that you said.
What is that?
You disagree, but you're not yelling over each other.
Yeah.
What I've seen, and you see this a lot in the news, right? You have a differing opinion than what intersectionality says you should. What do? They just shout you down.
Yeah.
You can't have that conversation.
No. Yeah.
You're both looking at a sign. You say it's red. They say, no, it's white. And they're like, no, it's white. And they just continue yelling at you.
Yeah.
Again, going back to Daryl Davis, when he was shouted down as a white supremacist, he tried to talk to the crowd who was upset with him for speaking at a conference about racism and hate. And stopping racism and hate in America. A guy who finds common grounds with KKK members and de-radicalizes them and gets people to leave the KKK, and these people come up and say, you are a white supremacist.
What the heck?
And he tried to conversate with them, but they just yelled at him. They didn't even bother listening. And the reason is because he dare have a different opinion than they do.
Right.
He did not repent of his sin according to their religion.
See, gosh, that's such a messy area, I feel like.
It is. But looking at these previous 3 episodes we had previous to this, this is kind of that underlying theme.
Right.
If you are not on board with what they want, with what their holy text of the moment says, what their holy opinion is, then you are evil. You are, insert derogatory comment here. And that could be, you're an idiot, you are racist, you are blah, 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 you are blah, 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 you're blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
And it could be so many of those things because you are going against what is convenient for them at that time, whatever they're trying to accomplish.
I wonder, like, years down the road for the people that I guess, wow, that are going off or yell at whoever it is that goes against them.
Yeah.
I feel like years later, are they going to look back and be like, wow, I was an idiot?
Probably not.
Or, well, see, that's what I don't know. Because, I mean, there's a lot of things that I know I had probably been passionate about in the past. Well, not that my past is really that long ago. But it's like, man, like some of my mentalities I feel like I've had obviously when I was younger. I'm like, you're stupid. Thinking back on that now.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, I'm sure at some point, 10 years down from now, I'll be like, you really thought that? Like, you're an idiot. Or I was such an idiot kind of thing. Like, I feel like that happens with everybody. Well, it's bound to happen. But I guess I wonder, like, would they ever think that what they were doing at this moment maybe was kind of stupid? I don't know.
I honestly don't know. Some people will,
There'll be some that do.
By that time, maybe their religion, their holy texts, their holy opinions will change.
Well, that's the thing. As if that changes,
and see, that's
not incredible.
I know, but they act like it's a religion, and that's a big difference between like Christianity or Judaism and that. Christianity, that we have a book, the Bible, but it's already written. It doesn't change.
Which, man, I don't like my coworkers at times when they've brought stuff up like this. But like, how do you know none of it has changed over the years, like in the writing of it?
Because I can give you that one.
How?
Because we have years and years and years with years, like thousands of years, not thousands, but hundreds of years in between of manuscripts. And when translated, there might be like a word or two different here, but but the meaning is the same.
Is the same thing. So I guess how often do they do that? Like, or do people do that still then? Or
no, they don't, because remember back in the day before the printing press and that, right?
Yeah.
In order to make a copy, a scribe had to manually copy it. If they missed a word, especially in a complex language like, let's say, Hebrew or Greek, those can make English seem like simple languages at times.
Right.
Then there might be a spelling mistake or a word out of place or a missing word.
Yeah.
But you take the overall number of documents that we have, and they come out pretty close.
That's good.
So like we're looking at, like, let's say the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? These are the oldest known copies of scripture that we know of.
Uh-huh.
And they agree with what we currently have.
Still have, which that is a good thing. Because, I mean, I guess that's the other thing. It's like reading through books now compared to books I probably got years ago. If they're in the same, I don't know, what would you call it? The same, I guess. Well, there's the NIV and then there's the ESV
translation.
That's it. Thank you. Wow. I mean, they're all the same. Well, like all ESVs are still ESV.
Yeah, and really the difference between ESV and like NIV is just how they're translating the Greek and the Hebrew and that to English.
Yeah,
the meaning is the same, but maybe the phrasings they pick are
a little bit different.
But they are maybe easier to read and the time by the translators.
Right. Because then there was a thing I thought they were trying to, I don't know,
a message that you're going for.
I don't know. I thought they were. Granted, this is years ago. This is why I don't really remember much of it. But they were gonna, I guess, kind of try to change the writing in the Bible, but I don't remember if that.
The TNIV where they make it gender neutral in that.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that like a thing?
Yeah, that's
it is. See, so that's irritating. Why would they do that?
So there's TNIV versus NIV versus ESV and all those other ones. And people are going to have that, right? Now, removing the gender thing, right? The gender neutral thing, the core message is still the same.
It's still the same.
Thousands of years later, it's still the same.
Mm-hmm.
Intersectionalism, it is different. every year.
Right.
George Floyd died, the religion changed. Next month, something happens, the religion will change. And therefore, the things that you have to say will change. And what's funny is these people who are growing up and saying, I am not religious at all. They immediately go and do, well.
What we're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
You may have seen this video.
We'll play this video here.
Where all of these people. No. Bro, this is praying. Look at this. Let me, I'm going to play this for you guys.
They're all holding their hands up in the air while they're kneeling.
It's important that you hear it, so I hope you're ready.
It looks like a church worship service.
I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible. And do everything in my power to educate my community. I will love my black neighbors the same as my white ones. About race.
So that's from Timcast IRLs. Again, if you haven't watched Tim Pool, go watch Tim Pool. He's pretty good. He's more center leaning than I am, and he's more center. He's more to the right of Josh. More to the left of me and you, Aaron. I do that just to see what Josh does. Pornstache, that.
It's a good look on you.
I'm making him a Californian through and through.
Do you want to move to California with me?
Are you getting married?
No.
I was going to say.
No to him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we got to go there to do it. No, we don't have to.
No, that's legal in all 50 states.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
You could be like your hero, SpongeBob. But anyways. But yeah, so watching that video, they're all sitting there like their hands on their heart, hand up in the air, like you would see in a Christian church worship service. All I needed to see was them swaying back and forth going, literally, that's what it is.
Yep. I did see that video.
Yeah, that was the video you were describing earlier.
Yep.
I knew exactly which one it was. And
I feel like it's funny that, I don't know, what if you had told them, like, what if you brought Jesus to them and like shared those beliefs, or I guess like Christian morals? Like, would they just want to reject it because it's got the Christian name on it? Because I mean,
well, I think they would reject it because they said they don't want religion.
But yet again,
they don't see that as religion. They see that as thinking correctly. You'll hear the phrase "on the wrong side of history" on an opinion. Have you ever heard that phrase? Yeah. So they'll be like, "You'll be on the wrong side of history for thinking X or doing Y or da da da." So it's just like, yeah.
Interesting. Because I don't know. It kind of shocks me, but because it's like I do find that overall, I feel like people are accepting of like Christian morals to a point, but at the same time don't want to have anything to do with Christianity, which I guess in some cases I get, because it's like, people want sections of it. They don't want the whole thing. They just want they only want what they find is good from it.
They want the love. They want the do not judge. They want the go to heaven. They don't want everything else.
No, they don't want to have to.
Again, they're making the religion fit them, but they're making a religion
out of it. Yeah,
they're making their religion on their politics fit them. They're making a religion out of it. Unfortunately, this has become a religion almost that is very widespread right now. Again, what happened to Floyd was horrible. There's no excuse to that. And I cannot find, let me rephrase that. Unfortunately, I can find these 1 and off and 2 off people who are like, oh, he deserved it. No, he didn't deserve that.
No.
No one deserves to die like that. Okay. Did he deserve to be arrested? Probably, yeah. Based on what was I read. But to die like that, no. Do I also think it's a conspiracy theory? No, I've heard that one too. That this was a conspiracy theory by Biden campaign to incite a race war to, and that Floyd is living somewhere. I was like, really? People believe that, and people are actually believing that, and it blows my mind.
They'll believe anything.
Yes, they will. So where I was going with this is, what's happening right now, this whole thing of racism. Yes, we need to have a conversation on a national scale, about some of this stuff, some police reform stuff. They're like, oh, let's break up the police unions. I'm like, okay. They're saying that in some areas, it's like, because then the police unions are protecting a lot of the cops who are maybe doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Like the officer that killed Floyd, if you're not aware, Kamala Harris actually passed up prosecuting him for earlier violations and earlier things that he had done in his career, which were prosecutable. But
Oof.
Kamala Harris, who was at the time the DA, decided against prosecuting him.
Ooh.
Doesn't look good on her. With
no,
that. But
not at all.
So yes, those small minority of the cops that do things that are wrong should be prosecuted. I'm 100% for that. And they get support from the police unions of that. So there has to be a conversation and figure out how to approach this. But at the same time, just shouting someone down because they don't agree with your opinion or have a different opinion on how to address it should not be tolerated. Just because Josh doesn't understand something doesn't mean that he should shout Aaron down from sharing his opinion on it. And here's the thing. It doesn't have to be race related. Remember, Daryl Davis was shouted down as a white supremacist. An African-American jazz player.
Yeah.
Was shouted down as a white supremacist.
Wild.
People are delusional. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense because it doesn't fit the religious dogma that they have been told that they must follow. And instead of, you have a conversation with Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
About something maybe religious, Christian based that maybe he doesn't agree with. He's not going to yell you down. That's a normal person. These people are acting like zealots.
Right. You can't question them.
Johnson was a zealot.
A zealot?
Yeah.
Was someone that's like very, I don't know, would you say?
I don't know.
Passionate? Very hard-headed, firm believer of what it is that they think.
Okay, yeah. A person who is fanatical and uncompromising in pursuit of their religious, political, or other ideals.
Chris Brown from Trapped?
Yes. Yes.
I just love how he has the song Headstrong. And then you see how he reacts to some people. I'm like, yep.
Yep, I know.
Hilarious. Sorry, I don't mean to rip, but.
Yeah, no. So, you diehard, activist, fanatic, enthusiast, extremist.
Yeah.
And that's what defines this religious movement almost.
Right. Well, yeah.
There can be no dissent in their eyes. And if you dissent at all, you are to be destroyed at all costs.
We're just, run down, chased out.
That's the underlie
rid of.
underneath cancel culture. That's the underlie underneath removing that Prop 209. That's the underlie underneath, the Oregon mask law. That's the underlie between moving down the statues. That's the underlie between all this. It's this weird interconnected thread of things that they don't seem connected at first, but then when you take a step back and you're like, all these things are being done by these religious zealots of the God of intersectionalism.
Intersectionalism.
Where they believe that they must be right and certain people are more oppressed and therefore get more oppression points than other people. And because they have more oppression points, they are more important.
So what happens when the roles change and it's now the white people that are more oppressed than others?
Don't forget, according to them, that can't happen.
Yeah. But I mean, over time.
No, according to them, if you're white, if you're a minority, you cannot be racist.
Yeah.
I have heard that so many times.
Yeah. No, and that's what?
Think about it this way.
Oh, I don't want to.
The statement that he quoted from Francis Scott Key in one of the other episodes about them being the weak link in society,
Mhm.
about African Americans being the weak link.
Yeah.
Flip it. So I mean, could it ever get there? Probably not. But if society becomes that mentally skewed from rationality and morality, yeah, we could go back to that.
Mm.
Because here's the thing: if what can stop it doesn't see it to be needed to be stopped, then there's no stopping it.
Trying to think of what.
So the very thing that would prevent us from slipping back into a civil rights movement, if that is in agreement that whites are born racist, that we need to be oppressed now, that we are the issue, the problem with society, if the power that controls that balance of culture agrees that we need to be oppressed, there's no stopping it. Party A, Party B. Party A believes Party B needs to be oppressed. If those above the two parties agree,
I don't think they're saying white people or Party A need to be oppressed. What they're saying is that by your very nature, and I've heard this so many times, and I've heard this from diversity training so many times, by your very nature, by being white, you are privileged and therefore you are oppressive.
You're not, though.
Doesn't matter.
but I was going off what he was saying.
I know, but what I'm saying is all the situations I've encountered this.
Do you think it would ever change to, because now that's for everyone that you're hearing that from,
Mhm.
at one point, obviously they're going to get older and die off.
Mhm.
Do you think that the younger generation that's coming up will just blindly and willingly agree with that and keep
Yes.
it going?
Because
Or do you think anybody agree, there would, at some point, do you think there'd be a group or an amount of people that would eventually start to be like, maybe this isn't right, and then turn that back up on itself?
So I remember hearing a year or so ago, Gen Z was supposed to be this super religious group of younger generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people were excited, saying they're going to be more Christian than the previous generations. So far, that hasn't proven to be true.
Not surprising.
But the Gen Zers, guess what? They're all in alignment with this religion of intersectionalism. They're all in agreement with it. So I don't know, because culturally, they're hearing this is the right thing to do. They're hearing that not only from their elders, from their peers. They're hearing that from the celebrities who are, doing what they do, and they tweet in support of this religion. And then you have where this religion almost seems like it's state sponsored in a way. It's the correct opinion to have in the court system, in the legislative system. You have governors marching with the people who are espousing these beliefs. It's one thing to say, I'm marching to be to bring awareness to racism and to end that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. It's another thing to say, hey, you in Illinois, all your churches are closed. You can't gather in Illinois more than 10 people. But hey, you want to have a demonstration? All of you can come here, and I will join you as the governor of Illinois. That happened.
Yep.
There was no social distancing.
Nope. And what was it? There was a whole thing about, still like the gathering thing should be no more than 10 people, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, if you did like a protest thing or whatever, or like a thing like that, you could have up to 100 people. It's like, how does that make any sense?
Or the health directors around the country saying it is medically essential for these protests to happen. They are having, again, there's one thing about bringing awareness to the racism problem and the prom cops and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole other thing to say, we're going to put faith in Mother Gaia that we'll be okay. Because honestly, like I said, we're very religious. We are. There's no doubt about that. We're going to believe in something.
Yeah.
And you're having, I'm trying to think how best to put this. We're having people, I guess you could say, promote one religion or another. there was a video recently. I don't think I saved it. Where it was a council in Florida, and they essentially said they used like every religion except except Christian religion. Like when I say every religion but Christian religion, I mean
every religion,
Satanism, everything. I mean it was quite painful to watch at the same time as kind of eye-opening at what these people will go to, the lengths that they will go to say, I am so woke that I will do this and be okay with it.
Woke. Isn't that like a religion thing? Wokeism? I don't know.
You could call intersectionalism
Wokeism.
wokeism.
Okay.
And they really fit into the same category because you can't have one without the other. Right, Josh?
Because like I said, always being woke at some point. And always being woke about new things at different times.
Yeah. There's a lot in there, isn't there? Johnson's just like, I don't like this.
No, yeah, you weren't lying when you're saying, yeah, your brain's gonna be hurting later.
Told you. But at the same time, like I said, honestly, I think this is kind of the glue that binds it all together. And it's kind of scary in that regard because, I mean, what's going to happen next year down the road?
2021. Yeah, is it going to just be downhill from here? Well, I mean, technically it's always going to be kind of working its way downhill, but like
Drop off.
Right.
Yeah, what's the bottom? When will we hit the bottom? I don't know. Because eventually we're gonna have to hit it. But what is it?
Right.
I mean,
whatever it is before Christ comes back will be the bottom.
And we know from Revelation that's only going to get worse.
Right. Which is terrifying.
Can you imagine?
Like, and granted, I mean, personally, at the moment, I'm not too scared of anything, really.
Right.
Like, I'm not afraid of, I don't know, I guess being attacked just out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can say I was heading to a friend's place downtown Racine, and there was like a small group of people kind of out doing some like protesting or whatever.
Right.
And at some point, a couple people started walking into the street to stop traffic. I was on my motorcycle. And so there was this car in the left lane. Oh,
sorry.
That scared me. Oh my gosh. There was a car to the left of me, a little bit ahead, and saw the people coming out, and with no signal or anything, just veered right in front of me and took a right turn down another street to avoid the people. That one already kind of ticked me off. I was like, really? And then, because I'm not trying to get in another accident.
Right.
But then, I mean, at that point, I was a little nervous being on a bike because I just kept going straight forward. I was like, I'm small enough where I'm not going to hit anybody. I'll take it slow and just work my way through. Because, I mean, they were spread out enough where I was like, okay, I can get through this and not avoid it or whatever. But I did think, I was like, man, what if they yank me off my bike? I was like, that's going to suck. So
because as reparations, you need to give your bike up.
Oh, shoot, no. My motorcycle. I mean, I'll give it to you if you want to pay me for it.
No. You have to give it.
But see, it's
my bike.
That's what I don't get about reparations. Is what has Aaron been given that he hasn't paid for on his own?
Doesn't matter. He has committed a sin.
Yep.
His sin
of being white.
Yep.
Did you know that I picked this? Like, I chose this life for me.
You did.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, hang on. Careful what you're saying there. Does he mean you had the ability to choose in the womb?
Yeah.
Careful.
It's like video games, bro. It's like, didn't you have that?
This is how you disarm the whole thing. This is how you disarm this whole thing. Go. Didn't you know? Identifies black.
Yeah, right.
Rachel Dolezal did the same thing.
Really? Rachel Dolezal.
She was the head of the NCAAP, who was actually white. And it was found out she was using makeup and that to make her skin dark. And she identified as black, even though she was white.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I identify, dude.
That's how, because according to their religion, you can identify as anything you want.
But what if they don't accept it?
Doesn't matter. They have to, according to their religion.
But what if they don't?
Because their religion says anyone can identify as anything. You could be a transsexual baby, black baby.
Bah.
Just link as many of those as you can to get oppression points.
You're good to go.
And you're good to go. Yeah.
So can I put that in my resume?
Well, if they have affirmative action at their hiring place, yes. But I wouldn't recommend that.
Oh, okay.
Because again, I go back to it should be based on merit.
Yes, agreed.
You know, you don't hire a person just to hire a person. You hire a person based on their skills,
what they can do.
You know, and as part of that, you don't not hire a person based on them as a person. You know, you don't not hire a person just because they have a little more melanin in your skin.
Right.
You know, you hire the best, regardless of male, female, transsexual, gay, bi,
because at the end of the day,
whatever.
Yeah. At the end of the day, don't you want your whatever it is that you're going for to just get better?
Yeah. You know,
so why not get the best?
You know, there's arguments to be made for that, but you hear people going all the time like, well, we need more. No, you don't need more of something. You need the best that you can get.
Right. Yeah.
But according to religion, if you don't, then you're a racist bigot. Blah, 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 blah.
Nice knowing you guys.
It's a crazy world out there.
Oh, it is. And I guess that's what
and it's only going to get crazier.
That's what I'm not excited about. I'm not looking forward to the time where I might actually have to be concerned to go out and about to places and feel like I'm not going to be safe potentially.
Well, it's not only that. It's getting to the point now where, and I can speak personally on this one, where I listen to what companies are saying. And I'm not saying like I'm not going to use their services or whatnot, but it's like, can I stay employed if a company starts going crazy? You know, there's this concept, you know, you've always heard of the silent majority. At what point do the people who are the quote unquote silent majority have to say enough is enough? We can no longer be silent.
No, I agree, because a lot of this change is stemming from the phrase "the squeaky wheel gets the attention," or is it "the squeaky wheel gets the fix"?
It's squeaky wheel gets the oil, but whatever.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. And no, that's a fair point. When do the people because that's all three of us here, all three of us are the kind of people that sit there and we just kind of take it. We don't make a big deal about it. We just keep living our lives. When do people like us start to squeak?
And so, you know, it's funny in haha way. Going back to Tim Pool. The guy puts out a ton of content. So, okay, don't get me wrong. I listen to a lot of his content.
Yeah.
He went on an epic 10-minute rant. It makes Josh look like an amateur. I mean,
that's good.
The guy was passionate.
Uh-oh.
He got demonetized for that video. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of foul language in there where he was essentially going off on the silent majority, saying this is the time when the silent majority can no longer be silent. You know,
it's a fair point.
That is fair.
You know, and people had, proper criticism. They're like, look, Tim, you don't have a family. You're getting paid by people on the internet who are giving you money to do your content.
Yeah.
You know, you have a little bit easier of a time than I say something and get blackballed.
Right.
You know, and those are fair criticism, both points, and he acknowledges, yes, that's a thing. He's like, but at what point do we say enough is enough?
Yeah. How far do you let it go?
And I'll be honest, that those are things that I have been contemplating for a long time. That's why I said I can no longer be a fence sitter, a milquetoast fence sitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's certain things I have to let slide company wise, unfortunately, if I want to stay employed. outside of that, though, of those things, I don't stay quiet on. Has that resulted in some backlash? Oh, yeah. My mom has tried that recently. And she has been told to go kill herself so many times. I was like, welcome to the internet, mother dearest.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And she's like, but I'm just telling people what I like on the internet. I'm like, yes, welcome to the internet, where every opinion is offensive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For real, though.
So, yes, welcome to the internet, where every opinion is offensive. Welcome to 2020, where the religion of the day is intersectionality. And if you do not agree with it, you are a heretic who needs to be canceled, destroyed, and have your life removed from you.
Bye.
And by life removed, I'm not talking about, I shouldn't say life removed, livelihood removed.
Right.
You're not going to be killed by them. You just won't be able to eat.
You won't make any sort of living for yourself.
Yep. So I'm glad to see there are companies and churches that are standing up to this sort of crap going on. Again, back to Laura Crowder, one of the guys, Gerald, on there. He graduated from Harvard, and he runs a wine company now. But
Nice.
they do in June, they do Cultural Appropriation Month. Louder with Crowder. Yeah, they're intentionally offensive. Okay.
Nice.
And I forgot, he did a costume one of the days, and someone like tried to blackmail him about calling him racist, and he was gonna do a social media campaign against his church because they found out where he goes to church, and be like, I'm gonna make it so you can no longer be a deacon, and da 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 da. What do? He went and talked to the pastor. Pastor and him released a joint statement with the deacon board behind it, and they essentially said, "Screw you, person." in nicer terminology.
Try. Yeah. Nice try.
They're like, we know this man. We know he's not racist. What you're saying isn't going to hold water.
Right. That's good. That is
Was
good.
his costume maybe a little offensive? Yes, but it's not racist. But that's the thing to them, because he deviated from the mark. He sinned. He's racist.
There's no.
So whether you or not, these people say they believe in religion or not,
They do.
They do. And it's the newest, hottest religion in America. Intersectionality. And God help us all, because we're going to need it.
When you see this next video, I think you're going to say, no way. An inventor in Israel has come up with a coronavirus mask. Here it is. It lets you eat without ever taking it off. You just squeeze a lever. It opens and closes a slot in the mask so that food can pass through it. That doesn't chew the food for you, it's just a way to get the food to your mouth. The company has applied for a patent and plans to start making them in a few months. Colleen?
Does take some hand-eye coordination there, Chuck.
Yeah.